Welcome back. My name is Neil Charran, and this is the Gideon Star Chronicler. So I mentioned before, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I saw it as a little kid, loved it. The three movies are phenomenal. I know they keep talking about them as happy accidents, but they are lightning in a bottle, all these wonderful things, but they are wonderful, and they were part of my formative years. And I will always thank you, George Lucas, and thank you to all who helped create some of the best childhood memories. Um, I wanted to talk about that. I have what I call my Jedi Story. So the year's 1986. Mets are in the World Series. I I believe my dad and I are watching it together, um, and I believe that they're going to win. So I pop a tape into the VCR and record it, and I sit back down, and my father's watching me, and I know these moments. It's my mom sometimes looks at me, and I'm like, how old am I right now? And when when she's looking at me, and my dad was looking at me, and I'm like, oh boy, I'm gonna get some dad something right now. So my dad's watching me. And I'm like, he's watching me, and I'm trying to ignore it, but I can't. So I finally, turned and looked at him, and he asks me, if your mom and I died today, what would you say in our eulogy? And I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? Is there something you're trying to tell me? Is there something you want me to know? Are you guys dying? And he's like, no, I'm being serious. And he was being serious. Which unfortunately made it so that I'd be serious. So as I recollect, it said something like, for mom, it would be all the wonderful adventures she took me on. My mom had a love of travel that she instilled in me. I love to travel, and just seeing different parts of the world, leaving our bubble, leaving our place, and going outside of our comfort zone into other places had an extraordinary impact on me, and I'm always grateful for that. And then for you, Dad, I have a very specific story that I have in mind that I'll never forget, and it has to do with Return of the Jedi. And basically, um, we went on Memorial Day weekend to see Return of the Jedi at the RKO Theater, Fordham Road, that no longer exists. And the line was out the corner. I think it was a 3-screen theater. There was just no way we were going to see the movie in the next probably 4 hours. We where we were on the line. The movie was whatever. Let's call it 2 hours 45 minutes with trailers and everything like that. We wouldn't make that the next movie. We'd make the next one. And I told my dad, it's fine. There's a pizza shop across the street. I'm hungry. Let's get pizza, and we'll come again. Saturday. Hopefully, it'll be less of a crowd. So we did that, and we planned to go on Saturday. Apparently during the work week, my father discussed, the line, and talked about, Star Wars, the phenomenon, and everything, and how they were going to go see back on Saturday. His friends at work were like, buddy, I hate to say this, but there's no way that if you try to get there for the 12 o'clock show, that you're going to see the 12 o'clock show. It's going to be like this for a while. It truly is a phenomenon. So my father on Saturday morning, this is pre-internet and everything else, so there's no way to buy the tickets in advance. Got up at 4:30 in the morning, made himself breakfast, kissed my mom goodbye, and I actually believe he walked about half an hour walk to the theater, found a payphone and let my mom know that he got there safe. And he basically was the 13th person in line. There were already 13 people, or 12 people in front of him. 13th person in line, I believe, if I recollect the story correctly. Online for the movie at about, call it 6:30 in the morning. 6:30 in the morning. The first movie was going to be shown at 12:30. So my dad waited in line for 6 hours for a movie that was not for him. It was for his son. I wasn't supposed to know any of this, but God bless my mom. She told me. Now, I heard her. I didn't necessarily care at the time. I was interested in Skywalker and what was going to happen and was he going to defeat Vader and just all these things. I didn't know about the Emperor being the bigger baddie and all this stuff. That was actually never part of my adventures, funny enough. But that I didn't think about it in the moment. My mom drove me, and my dad was there with the 2 tickets, and I didn't hug him or kiss him, or I just ran up, jumped up, grabbed one of the tickets out of his hand, and ran inside to get a line for the popcorn. And my father turned, saw it, and started laughing, and my mom started laughing. And it was everything that you could want for your child. Just the happiness that was in my face. In fact, this is another so I remember Return of the Jedi, soup to nuts. The whole day, the whole experience, the whole movie, ingrained in my brain, the way the theater looked, just everything. Just all, and every time I watch it, it all comes rushing back. And I miss my dad terribly. But it's something that does make me happy. Whenever I need a little pick me up, I'll just pop in Return of the Jedi. But I remember this distinctly in the theater. The moment where Luke's at the Sarlacc pit, and everybody in the theater was quiet. We were all in it. And so he doesn't have a lightsaber. Han and Chewie and Leia are all, detained, tied up. They're all the people that we believe, even Lando, all the people that we believe that can save him. So we're like, we don't know what's happening right now. I'm not joking. We don't know at all what's happening. He gets pushed into the pit, grabs the plank, flips up. R2-D2 shoots something towards him. Luke holds out his hand and catches a lightsaber, and it ignites green, and the whole theater, yours truly included, erupted applause. We are standing on our feet applauding. It's one of the rare times that I remember as a kid, or I actually remember just an experience in the movie where people clapped, but also, talked about, we stood up and clapped. We were just amazed. And the only person in that theater not standing was my dad. But he was looking up at me, and I was looking down at him. And he had a smile I'd never seen before. Just, I don't know what to tell you. It was a mix of love and pride. I think it was that moment where you're like, I created joy in someone else's life, and you recognize it. I created joy in someone else's life, and you recognize it. And that was the gift that my father gave to me. And I told him that's the story I would tell. And I actually did tell that story at his funeral. And it was something that I carry with me forever, because I'm a father now. I have a beautiful 3-year-old daughter, and I want all of that he gave me, that moment and more, for my daughter. Just happiness and joy, and making it and creating it as much as I can over and over again. And I can't explain to you, when people ask me what my favorite Star Wars movie is, it's Return of the Jedi, but it's because of the feelings, the memories, the emotions attached to it. I know Empire Strikes Back, and visually and story-wise and plot-wise, and just all the, I actually know, as a storyteller, it's a better story. It's a better movie, it's a better story. I do know that. But I love Return. I love the Ewoks. I love it all. I really do. And I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that. And so to close the story, the Jedi story for my dad out, the Mets won the World Series, and we had another cheering moment. My dad and I hugged and clapped and high-fived and everything like that. It was just amazing, the whole thing. So that's my Jedi story. What I want to emphasize in that is that also is a part of storytelling. You're trying to create something uh, amazing, and it's amazing not because it is amazing, but because you're trying to create this thing to give someone something. You're doing this, so that act is what makes it amazing. Just pure and simple. Your intention of storytelling, the theme, whether it's hope or love or loss or dealing with hope, love, or loss, or any and all of it in between, whatever it is that you're trying to express, we love you for it. If it's in poetry, if it's in fiction, if it's in moving pictures, we love you for it. Give that to us. We want to see what you see, but also for us. And we love you when you give that. So storytelling is a mechanism of communication, conveying something, a message to someone else. And so you're putting it in a wrapper that makes it palatable to the person you're trying to communicate with. You're not trying to upset them. You're not trying to, well, I shouldn't say that. Sometimes you are trying to upset them because you want to emote something. You want, in this particular moment, for an emotion. But what I'm saying is a whole, as a story as a whole, it's not about trying to take your audience away. You want your audience engaged. And if you notice, I mean, this is just not fanboys. When people talk about Little Women, Madame Bovary, Catcher in the Rye, just all these novels that were either taught in school or introduced to you as young, or we're engaged in these stories. We want to know what happens. We want to know, what's down the river for Huckleberry Finn. What is, what's going to happen next? And we know it's fiction. We know, people don't go to the bathroom or, or, we know that these things are, plotted along, but the way that it's conveyed to us, we're still engaged. And that's the point. My father created a story and he didn't even know it. Greatest storyteller ever, my dad. All right, guys, have a great day. And remember, keep writing.